Before we get started, let me teach you what overclocking is. Overclocking is when you run the processor of a computer at a speed higher than that of the manufacturers. Metaphorically, we can apply this to TDS towers, such as boosting a fire rate of tower X amount more times than intended. We can do this to our towers with support towers and consumables. Two towers immediately come to mind when it comes to overclocking, the Scout and the Minigunner. The Scout has an already extremely basic type of fire rate, so it would be funny to see him shooting fast. Well, the Minigunner has the fastest fire rate out of any tower inside of TDS, so let's see how truly fast it can get. Commander is the definitive support for fire rate, so if we combine that with the fire rate flag consumable, we can get a whopping 70% fire rate boost. So let's use all of this knowledge on a Scout. When maxed, the stock fire rate of the Golden Scout is 0.4, but the basic Scout has this fire rate of 0.3. So technically, a basic Scout shoots faster, but let's just try it on the Golden Scout because it has 2 times more DPS than normal Scout. With the passive buff, the commander gives the Golden Scout 20% faster fire rate, so that gives it a fire rate of 0.32. When we use commander's ability, the fire rate shoots up to, no pun intended, to 0.2. To turn our Scout into a true god, we will have to use Commander's ability, Commander's passive buff, along with the fire rate consumable flag. This gives our Scout a new fire rate of 0.12, and as you can see, it's definitely showing. Now what about Golden Minigunner? Max Golden Minigunner already has a low fire rate of 0.1. Commander's passive buff makes it drop down to 0.08, and that'll make the ability give it 0.5 fire rate. Last but certainly not least, let's place the Consumo flag, which will give it a whopping fire rate of 0.03. So after collecting some money from farms and airdrops, I was finally able to afford everything needed. So, let's just do it. This is the fastest firing tower possible in TDS. Okay, listen, it was cooler in game. You had to be there. You had to be walking out of the dungeon after finishing recording.